According to my phone, it's 37 degrees outside. If you watched one of our recent review videos, you saw Lance and I talking about winterization of bikes. I think it's time to do it to my bikes. You see, I seem to think that I'm gonna get another ride or two out of the big bike, but I know Kristen's done riding hers, so today we're gonna winterize this 2012 Ninja 650. So I'm gonna use this as an excuse to ride the bike today. I need some more fuel stabilizer. You would think I'd have it here since we just reviewed it last week. But anyway, I'm gonna ride up to Ride on Moto here shortly. First thing I'm gonna do is check the pressure in the tires, make sure they're good to go, and then go get on my warm weather gear.
Man, I haven't ridden this bike in months. Just a few things I noticed right off the bat. Not much wind protection. Second, this seat's been shaped down to help Kristen get her feet to the ground a little bit easier, and it doesn't provide near as much cushioning. I mean, I probably outweigh her by 80, 90 pounds, so I can see the seat not being very comfortable for very long. And then the other thing I noticed is we did add some linkage to the suspension to drop it, and the front forks. If you look right there, I don't know if you guys can see it. They've been dropped a little bit too, so I really feel like I'm riding on the ground. But it's a good little peppy engine on this thing. It's a little parallel twin. It's a lot of fun to ride. But it's definitely cold out. The only thing I really noticed is my neck's exposed. If I had something covering it up right now, I'd actually be pretty comfortable. I already had to stop and change GoPro batteries. I'm like 5 minutes from home. When you take off and it says it has 2 bars, which if you own a GoPro, you know they only go up to 3 bars anyway on battery life, that means it's gonna die in 5 minutes. I wish they would come out with a better battery for these things. Rolling stop. Oh, we have an idiot in front of us. That's cool. We made it to Ride on Moto.
Alright, back at the house. Just FYI, that Ninja is really stable at 110. Not that I'd know or anything. Next thing we're going to do with it, I've already ran the K100 fuel stabilizer through it, and the tank is topped off. So now I'm going to get a little bit of lube on the chain down there, get this thing up on the wheel stand, and then get to the battery next. In case you were wondering about the video the other day, I actually do use this in my bikes. I had to go up and get some from Ride on Moto, and yes, I did have to pay for it. If you've got a sport bike and you have the ability to put spools on it, I highly suggest that you do. It makes lubing the chain a whole lot easier. I have one of these Moto stands. It's a decent rear wheel stand. It's not as good as my Pitbull, but it also costs a whole lot less, and it does an adequate job on this bike. Now with the bike up on the rear wheel stand, this tire is properly inflated to the 36 psi that it should be. We're gonna move up here to the front tire. I'm gonna take a look here on the sidewall to find out what the max is on it. And that's what we're going to inflate it to sit here during the winter time to hopefully keep from getting any flat spots in the tire. Another thing you're probably going to want to do if you're winterizing your bike, you should change the motor oil. I recently changed the oil in this. It doesn't have hardly any miles on it, so I'm going to let it go. But typically, change the oil too, and the filter. Another thing often overlooked, you should clean it. Get all the dust and stuff off of it. We're probably going to end up putting a cover on it. But dust can lead to surface scratches and stuff like that in the paint. Make sure it's good and clean. We keep this bike really clean, so it's really just dust and stuff on it right now, so we'll get that cleaned up and then we'll move on. With the front, or with the passenger side seat, and, or not the passenger, With the passenger seat and the rider seat removed, it gives us easy access to the battery. I'm going to put on these battery terminal leads, get this thing plugged in, and then we're pretty much done. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. You've got obviously red to red. Oops, I'm sorry. Obviously red to red. This is your positive. This is your negative, or your ground. You always want to unhook this first, then unhook this, and then hook this one back up, and then hook this one back up. And you've got these nice little battery tender leads. The only thing you really have left to do is you plug the leads in here, which then lead over here. Now it's red right now. Once it gets up to full charge, this will stay lit up green throughout the winter. As you can see, I can even put the seat back on. The leads run right underneath there. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys got something valuable out of today's video. These are very, very simple things you can do to ensure your bike's ready to ride in the spring.